The PRC has diplomatic relations with 175 countries and maintains embassies in 162. In 2019, China had the largest diplomatic network in the world. Its legitimacy is disputed by the Republic of China and a few other countries. It is thus the largest and most populous state with limited recognition, with a population of more than 1.4 billion. In 1971, the PRC replaced the Republic of China as the sole representative of China in the United Nations and as one of the 5 permanent members of the United Nations Security Council. China was also a former member and leader of the non-aligned movement, and still considers itself an advocate for developing countries. Along with Brazil, Russia, India and South Africa, China is a member of the BRICS group of emerging major economies and hosted the group's 3rd official summit at Sanya, Hainan in April 2011. Under its interpretation of the One China policy, Beijing has made it a precondition to establishing diplomatic relations that the other country acknowledges its claim to Taiwan and severs official ties with the government of the Republic of China. Chinese officials have protested on numerous occasions when foreign countries have made diplomatic overtures to Taiwan, especially in the matter of armament sales. Much of current Chinese foreign policy is reportedly based on Premier Zhou Enlai's 5 principles of peaceful coexistence, and is also driven by the concept of harmony without uniformity, which encourages diplomatic relations between states despite ideological differences. This policy may have led China to support states that are regarded as dangerous or repressive by Western nations, such as Zimbabwe, North Korea and Iran. China has a close economic and military relationship with Russia, and the 2 states often vote in unison in the UN Security Council. Military People's Liberation Army and paramilitary forces of China Chengdu J, 25th generation stealth fighter with nearly 2.2 million active troops. The People's Liberation Army, PLA, is the largest standing military force in the world, commanded by the Central Military Commission, CMC. China has the 2nd biggest military reserve force, only behind North Korea. Citation needed. The PLA consists of a ground force, PLAGF, the Navy, PLAN, the Air Force, PLAAF, the Rocket Force, PLARF, and the Strategic Support Force, PLASSF. According to the Chinese government military budget for 2017, totaled US $151.5 billion, constituting the world's 2nd largest military budget, although the military expenditures GDP ratio with 1.3% of GDP is below world average. However, many authorities including SIPRI and the U.S. Office of the Secretary of Defense claim that China hides its real level of military spending, which is allegedly much higher than the official budget. China boasts the world's 3rd most powerful military, with the world's 3rd largest stockpile of nuclear weapons. Economy: China and other major developing economies by GDP per capita at purchasing power parity 1990-2013. The rapid economic growth of China, blue, is readily apparent. A proportional representation of Chinese exports, 2019. Since 2010, China has had the world's 2nd largest economy in terms of nominal GDP, totaling approximately US $15.66 trillion, 101.6 trillion yuan, as of 2020. In terms of purchasing power parity, PPP GDP, China's economy has been the largest in the world since 2014, according to the World Bank. China is also the world's fastest growing major economy. According to the World Bank, China's GDP grew from $150 billion in 1978 to $14.28 trillion by 2019. China's economic growth has been consistently above 6% since the introduction of economic reforms in 1978. China is also the world's largest exporter and second largest importer of goods. Between 2010 and 2019, China's contribution to global GDP growth has been 25% to 39%. China had one of the largest economies in the world for most of the past 2,000 years, during which it has seen cycles of prosperity and decline. Since economic reforms began in 1978, China has developed into a highly diversified economy and one of the most consequential players in international trade. Major sectors of competitive strength include manufacturing, retail, mining, steel, textiles, automobiles, energy generation, green energy, banking, electronics, telecommunications, real estate, e-commerce, and tourism. China has 3 out of the 10 largest stock exchanges in the world: Shanghai, Hong Kong and Shenzhen, that together have a market capitalization of over $15.9 trillion as of October 2020. China has 4, Shanghai, Hong Kong, Beijing, and Shenzhen, out of the world's top 10 most competitive financial centers, which is more than any country in the 2020 Global Financial Centers Index. By 2035, China's 4 cities, Shanghai, Beijing, Guangzhou and Shenzhen, are projected to be among the global top 10 largest cities by nominal GDP, according to a report by Oxford Economics. China has been the world's No.1 manufacturer since 2010, after overtaking the US, which had been No.1 for the previous 100 years. China has also been No.2 in high-tech manufacturing since 2012, according to U.S. National Science Foundation. China is the second largest retail market in the world, next to the United States. China leads the world in e-commerce, accounting for 40% of the global market share in 2016 and more than 50% of the global market share in 2019. China is the world's leader in electric vehicles, manufacturing and buying half of all the plug-in electric cars, BEV and PHEV, in the world in 2018. China is also the leading producer of batteries for electric vehicles as well as several key raw materials for batteries. China had 174 GW of installed solar capacity by the end of 2018, which amounts to more than 40% of the global solar capacity. Foreign and some Chinese sources have claimed that official Chinese government statistics overstate China's economic growth. However, several Western academics and institutions have stated that China's economic growth is higher than indicated by official figures. China has a large informal economy, which arose as a result of the country's economic opening. The informal economy is a source of employment and income for workers, but it is unrecognized and suffers from lower productivity. Wealth in China. Shanghai World Financial Center, Jinmao Tower and Shanghai Tower, Lujiazhu. As of 2020, China was second in the world after the US in total number of billionaires and total number of millionaires, with 698 Chinese billionaires and 4.4 million millionaires. In 2019, China overtook the US as the home to the highest number of people who have a net personal wealth of at least $110,000, according to the Global Wealth Report by Credit Suisse. According to the UN Global Rich List 2020, China is home to 5 of the world's top 10 cities: Beijing, Shanghai, Hong Kong, Shenzhen, and Guangzhou in the first, third, fourth, fifth, and 10th spots, respectively, by the highest number of billionaires, which is more than any other country. China had 85 female billionaires as of January 2021, two-thirds of the global total, and minted 24 new female billionaires in 2020. However, it ranks behind over 60 countries out of around 180 in per capita economic output, making it an upper middle-income country. Additionally, its development is highly uneven. Its major cities and coastal areas are far more prosperous compared to rural and interior regions. Brought more people out of extreme poverty than any other country in history between 1978 and 2018. China reduced extreme poverty by 800 million. China reduced the extreme poverty rate per international standard. It refers to an income of less than $1.90/day from 88% in 1981 to 1.85% by 2013. According to the World Bank, the number of Chinese in extreme poverty fell from 756 million to 25 million between 1990 and 2013. The portion of people in China living below the international poverty line of $1.90/day, 2011 PPP, fell to 0.3% in 2018, from 66.3% in 1990. Using the lower middle-income poverty line of $3.20/day, the portion fell to 2.9% in 2018, from 90.0% in 1990. Using the upper middle-income poverty line of $5.50/day, the portion fell to 17.0%, from 98.3% in 1990.